Time being 7 PM, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is the traditional territory acknowledgement, followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and Métis people. Administration advises that there are 2 additions to the agenda under reports from committees, boards, and agencies regarding the minutes from the Committee of a Whole meeting held earlier this afternoon, as well as a bylaw for zoning bylaw amendment bylaw. Do any members of council wish to make any amendments to the agenda? Here comes that. Seeing none, can I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the agenda as amended? Councillor Muir, Councillor Gladden, all in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Okay, seeing none. The open and closed session minutes of the regular meeting November 20th are at items 5.1 of the agenda. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the open session minutes? Are there any errors or omissions to note in the closed session minutes? Okay, may I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the open and closed session minutes at items 5.1 of the agenda? Okay, Councillor Smith, Councillor Gladden, all in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, 6.1 are resolutions from other communities or municipalities. Do any members of council have any remarks on this item? Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to support the correspondence from the Township of Perry? Oh, you have a question? No, go ahead.
I think it's the same as Gordon. I was just fully in support that we should move to have it support this whole thing. Yeah.
Is there a mover and seconder for motion to support the correspondence from the Township of Perry regarding amendments to Legislation Act 2006? Councillor Smith, Councillor Muir, all in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. I know you guys are too quick with the arms. Okay, next item 6.2, information purposes only regarding a board meeting summary report provided by NOMA. Do any members of council have any remarks on the item? Okay, seeing none. 6.3, information purposes only regarding a thank you from Live from the Rock. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? 6.4, information purposes only regarding the minutes from the DSAB board meeting on October 19th, 2023. Do any members of council have any remarks? None. 6.5 is information purposes only relating to the minutes from the Thunder Bay District Municipal League meeting on September 16th. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? No. I'm reading so fast, I don't know where I'm at here. Okay, 6.6, information purposes only relating to the minutes from the. Did I read that one already? Nope. Thunder Bay District Municipal League meeting on October 18th. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Okay, seeing none. 6.7, information purposes only relating to an update from the DSAB board. Do any members of council have any remarks? A lot of correspondence. No? 6.8, information purposes only relating to the minutes from the Thunder Bay District Health Unit Board meeting on October 18th. Do any members of council have any remarks? 6.9 is for discussion purposes only relating to the donation request from the Nipigon Fire Department for the 62nd Annual Northern Ontario Firefighters Curling Playdowns. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Councilor Muir.
I don't recall being asked for this previously. Thinking back, and I can't remember ever receiving this request specifically.
Yeah, I can highlight a bit of it. I've never seen a request like this. So it's actually, if you read it, it reads that the playdowns are in the city of Thunder Bay, and they are, but they're hosted by the Township of Nipigon. So this came from the chair of the Nipigon Fire Department. And it's just a simple request from that I bring to council for sponsorship. So that's a decision of council, but that's you're correct. I've never seen this, but the event is hosted by the Township of Nipigon, but held in the city of Thunder Bay.
So it does look like they're looking for merchandise. It's not a financial or monetary. That's how I read it, but
Yeah, I guess, I mean, any type of donation that they could use for draw prizes would be accepted. I would imagine it would include monetary as well, if that's what we chose, but certainly it does talk about door prizes as well. So I think from what I gather, they'd be accepting any type of donation if that was the decision.
any other comments? Councilor Smith?
Could we like donate swag, like Red Rock merch, like a sweater and something? It's just a prize to.
Yeah, certainly we could do something like that. I mean, that does promote, it does promote Red Rock. This is a large gathering of firefighters that they have. This is the Northern Ontario firefighters qualifying, and then it is a rather large event, I know, throughout the province, but certainly we could, if we wanted to donate, we could look at what we had, whether that was a sweatshirt or hat or combination of something like that for sure, and put a value of, whether that's a value of $50 or $100, whatever, we can, I'm sure, put something together.
I didn't notice to kind of promote Red Rock and stuff, but do the sweater and maybe like an arena pass or something. Get people to come down here. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure with the direction, we can put something together in those kind of values. If council wanted to set a value and say that was 50 or that was 25 or that was 100, whatever you wanted, we could certainly put something together.
I don't mind seeing a swag bag being put together, the value of $100, right? Because like a sweatshirt, what it costs, and cups and whatever we have.
Perfect.
Okay, next item. Page. Oh, I guess. Okay, so is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve a donation of $100 worth of swag for the Northern Ontario firefighters curling playdowns? Councilor Smith. Councilor Brand. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, next item, 6.10, information purposes only relating to a rebate from the LAS natural gas program for the period of 2021-2022. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Councilor Muir?
So I got extremely confused. $807 is the total that we're being given as a credit.
Correct.
Okay, so then when I scrolled down in Appendix A, when they told, I don't know, it looked like they gave you financial information on how to do the books for that, but they use slightly bigger numbers.
They certainly do.
All right,
yeah.
okay, good enough.
Um,
I don't know why they tried to rub that in, but okay, good enough.
it's actually funny you say that. I read it the same way, and I was trying to piece it together when I was reading it. But ultimately, the township participates in a shared purchase through LAS and AMO on our utilities. So this is our portion or a portion of the reserve fund. So the surplus coming back to the township. So just kind of a bonus. We see the savings monthly as well, purchasing in a group format like that. So this is $807.25 that comes back to the township. If you can see, if you read it, it's actually dates back to what 2021, 2022 years. So yeah, but you're right. The numbers are kind of confusing. The one you need to see is the bold one, and that's what we get. Or that's what we got, I should say, because we have received that funding already.
Okay, next item 611 is information purposes only relating to a letter of support from NOMA on a bill to prohibit the passing of vehicles on the road with two solid yellow lines. Do any members of council have any remarks on this? Councilor Mayor?
Yeah, no, I definitely thought this was already illegal ever since I started driving. I definitely did. It would be nice though to see it so that it was actually like even illegal for just transports to be passing on a 2-lane highway, just full blown illegal for them to pass on a 2-lane highway because that's where the accidents are coming. So that'd be nice to see if we could even further that, and governors on these trucks as well.
Yeah, and that's why NOMA goes on the behalf of its member organization. So again, they're not looking for a letter of support or resolution. We're just sharing that is one of the items that NOMA is working on now. I mean, we see it a lot here, obviously in Northwestern Ontario. I know Highway 11 is a stretch that doesn't have a lot of passing lanes or the double lanes. Say in that stretch from Red Rock, Nipigon to Long Lac. So yeah, I too never really knew the true parameters of passing like that, but we do now.
Okay, next item 7.1 is an addition to the agenda from the Committee of the Whole meeting this afternoon. Do any members of council have remarks or discussions on this item? Councilor Brand?
So I thought when, like I asked the question about accessibility, the elevator, I thought when you're building, renovating, you had to make it accessible now. I thought there was a new bylaw or guidelines for that type of thing. Or is it just new construction?
Yeah, so I mean, today's session was about the zoning and approving the zoning. Once that moves forward, and again, that's what we were focusing on today. So but the question to there, I did a quick search on it too, just to see on my own. It does look like by the Ontario Building Code that a building requires an elevator if it's 6 floors or more. But again, we were addressing the zoning today. So I guess if there was an issue on that elevator, but I don't think there is. Just on I had a quick chance to look today, in the Ontario Building Code looks like it's 6 stories or more for an elevator.
Councilor Mayor?
Yeah, and then like once it's zoned, I think they still have to go through the building department with the building inspector as well too. So that's what we've retained the services for them as well to make sure that they're.
You're absolutely correct. This stage today set up for that, right? They can now move forward and proceed with that once the environmental and everything clears, as we're going to pass it.
Any other questions or comments? No, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the report? Councilor Brand, Councilor Mayor. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the recommendation from the Committee of the Whole in regards to the proposed amendment to the zoning bylaw? Councilor Smith. Counselor Muir, all in favor? Arms rising, motion's carried. Okay, 8.1 is a report from the Director of Operations. Welcome, Blair. Okay, do any members of council have questions? That's Mr. Westerman. Councillor Glad.
I briefly discussed with Blair before coming into the meeting about, there's a hydrant out of service in front of, near my house. And I just wanted to know, what needs to be done to repair it, or if it's out of service. And I kind of gave him the heads up and was gonna ask some questions, so.
It is currently tagged out of service. What we thought we could do to repair it, apparently we can't because the barrel of the hydrant is actually compromised. So we'll have to replace the entire hydrant. So we kind of ran out of time this fall, but we will earmark that in the spring.
You mentioned about it being okay, like you had enough hydrants. in the
Yeah,
area.
there's a hydrant on Timmins. There's one at the end of Timmins where it meets Brompton. And there's one at the intersection, so. I believe NFPA standards require that you have to have a hydrant, a minimum of 400 feet from the nearest household. So I think we're still in compliance
Councillor Muir.
And then after that, obviously, the fire department's been notified.
there. Yeah, they're aware of that.
Process in place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Check one, sorry.
Councillor Smith.
It says you completed the winter checks on the hydrants. Any significant issues found other than,
No, our hydrants are dry barrel hydrants, so they're supposedly self-draining, but over time they corrode at the base of the barrel. So they do fill with water, and that's why we do hydrant checks, is to make sure that we're not getting water built up to that frost level where it's going to freeze.
and then just kind of on the she shed, how was the moving of the
Sprinklers.
sprinklers? Yeah.
I'm still trying to organize something with Vipond. They're supposed to call me again today. I've been calling them quite a bit. I'm not sure what the problem is, but hopefully they can schedule that in shortly.
Councillor Brand.
Just wondering, Blair, about the condenser fan that froze. We've been having mild weather this time of year. Just curious as to why that would freeze.
Well, the condenser gives off water vapor. And I guess conditions were such that it got cold enough that I don't think that's happened commonly. I think staff had said they remember it happening once years ago. So it's not something that happens commonly, but hopefully we can get through this season with that old condenser, and then it's slated to be replaced with the upgrades for the building.
I just want to comment on the bridge number 1 repairs. I know it says here, what does it say? Little to no complaints. One might have been me making sure that we had enough notice and support for the residents, because I was just being overly cautious. So thanks for all the signage. I thought that was great. I'm glad that they were able to address most of those issues. And you said that they will be back the week of the 18th. So next week, that's a 1-day shutdown maybe? Or
Yeah,
something
they're
like that?
currently working on the bridge now. They're still here. They're moving the materials over to the south end approach. And they're going to address some piling caps that need replacement. So there will be periodic shutdowns expected the week of the 18th. And maybe single day shutdowns is what they're expecting.
Okay, great. Any other questions or comments for Blair? And please extend to your staff, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Hope
All
that
right,
they
I will.
enjoy themselves.
Yep.
Okay, is there a mover and seconder to receive the report? Counselor Gladden, Counselor Smith, all in favor? Motion's carried. Thanks, Blair.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, next item, 8.2 is report from the fire chief. Do any members of council have any questions? Counselor Mir?
No, just congratulations to the fire department and having Graham Hattrick qualified as a certified trainer. That's good when you can get in-house trainers. That's amazing work. Good job.
Counselor Gladden?
I concur on that.
Yeah, and I will definitely pass that, that message on.
Counselor Smith?
Um, the pumper one that had the leak repaired on our exhaust. Is that an old pumper? Or is that gonna see further issues? But I don't know if I should be asking that question, but.
I think the general answer is, I mean, all of our stock is older. Will it see other issues? I mean, probably. I mean, ideally, it's kind of what we've been working towards. I mean, not generally specifically grabbing one target item and saying a pumper, but generally getting the finances of the municipality to a state that we can invest in our infrastructure and our rolling stock, for example. So unlike most of our fleet, things are older, they're aging. And again, that's our focus and that's our goal, to get us to the point that we can invest. Happy to say that we're getting there, and heading in the right direction, but yeah, we do see expenses that do pop up, and they are older equipment for sure.
I was mostly also asking just because I know there are some regulations to the age of equipment now and in the fire department realm, and I just wanted to see if we're on track to make sure that we kind of do the best we can for the firefighters.
Yeah, for sure. And ultimately, I mean, it's not uncommon and certainly not great, but where you see smaller municipalities have to use older equipment for longer. You're absolutely correct. At some point you get into a point where insurance becomes an issue as well, right? So that's part of the big picture. Again, can say, I mean, if we had this discussion a year and a half or 2 years ago, we'd be having a lot different discussion than we are today, but that's the goal, to hopefully be able to add to our fleet and invest in our infrastructure.
Any other questions or comments on the report? Counselor Brand?
I'm not sure if I can bring this up, but I was hoping that they would have included the gala and tell us a little bit how they did on that. It looked like a big success. What's that? Pardon?
It was
Yeah, I just thought maybe
very,
he
yeah,
would
very
put something in the
successful.
report.
Maybe we'll ask next time if they can, just provide a little bit of information if they raise some money. I'm sure that they did, but had a fantastic time. Okay, is there a mover and seconder to receive the report? Counselor Muir, Counselor Brand, all in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Next item, 8.3 is report from the Community Development Officer. Come on up, Ashley. Do any members of the council have questions of Ashley's report? Counselor Gladden?
More of a comment. But it was an excellent report, Ashley, and for all the detail that you put into the projects. It'll be great for future reference for sure. As far as the strategic, it's good progress for sure. Really impressed with the report.
Counselor Brand?
Ashley, I just had a question on number 15 regarding the cruise. You've got here a recommendation to charge $20 per person as a disembarkment fee and a security fee of $2,000. So does that mean that we would have a boat and we'd go get somebody and bring them in? I just wasn't sure on that, and what is the security for?
So when okay. So to accept cruise ships, every marina or port has to have either a be certified with Transport Canada as an occasional use marine facility or a full service, full-time marine facility. So Red Rock is certified to accept up to 10 cruise ships in a season under our occasional use marine facility certification with Transport Canada. So the way our marina is set up, and with the depth of water out in the bay, a cruise ship, kind of what they did in 2011, I believe, with the Clelia 2. So they would be out in the bay or slightly past the channel, and they would tender in their passengers on a Zodiac to our loading dock beside the fuel pumps. So with Transport Canada, that whole section of the break wall would have to be cordoned off to make sure that you don't end up with random members of the public hopping on a Zodiac and ending up on the cruise ship. So that security fee of $2,000 is charged directly to the cruise ship company, and would cover our staff time and any barricades or anything that would have to be set up to ensure the public stays away from that area. And it's only the cruise passengers who are allowed in that section during loading. So when they come off the ship and then we get loaded back onto the Zodiacs to go back onto the ship. So, and then there's also a standard that gets included in kind of the packages that the cruise ships create for their passengers, and that's a $20 per person disembarkment fee. So basically, we charge them additional $20 per person for every person that sets foot on the Red Rock dock. And that kind of gets included in all of the fees. So this is standard across the board. Any passenger who's been on a cruise ship ends up paying a disembarkation fee to the port, and it gets rolled into the package fees that the cruise ships charge their passengers.
So would we have to have any additional insurance for this? For people coming off the boat and coming onto our property or anything?
No, it's all covered in
all
part of our regular insurance. I don't believe there was anything extra when the Clelia 2 was here. We can look into that further, but it hasn't been an issue. The cruise ships were at Battle Island this year, and there wasn't any further insurance required for them this year. So it's okay.
Any other questions or comments? Is there anything you would like to speak to?
Just the main things that we're finally wrapping up on a couple projects to get them off the docket, just receiving the final invoices and final reporting. There's 2 holdbacks that get released 60 days after the substantial completion date. So just waiting on those. There were a couple of hiccups with one of our projects, and we found out that we needed an extra parapet on the roof. So that cost us a little more, but overall we're within $5,000 over budget of all of the projects that we've been working on so far. So that's not bad when you think of the scale of the projects. So the biggest one is the Brompton one. So total cost, including HST, being over $3.1 million, and we were $5,000 over budget with some additional paving work that got done on Stadler. So that was a big win for Red Rock in terms of our infrastructure upgrade. And most of it being funded through the provincial and federal government. So that's a big one. And then just a couple other smaller projects that we've got going on. Nextbridge community investment. So these are all just kind of draws. There's no guarantee that we will get funding, but it's an opportunity for communities like Red Rock to apply for additional sports equipment or new tables for a community center and things like that. So
Great. Seeing no other questions, is there a mover and seconder to receive the report? Counselor Gladden, Counselor Smith. All in favor? All hands rising, motions are, thanks, Ashley. Okay, next item, 8.4 is a report on administrative activities. Do any members of council have any questions of Mr. Figumini? Okay. Mark, maybe you'd like to give a verbal update on the direction and discussion portion?
Yes, I certainly can. So Thunder Bay District Municipal League Conference, just a general reminder for council. Again, that conference will be held in Nipigon this year, February 29th to March 1st. Interest in attending that conference, and that can be for the second bullet as well with NOMA, which is April 24th, 26th to the 26th. That one's in Thunder Bay. Just contact Whitney at the office and she can set you up with the registration there. CEMC, so the update on compliance, both myself and Samantha Cameron are now fully certified. So we've both went through all the training. It was an extensive amount of training, but both of us successfully passed the exam, and now are fully compliant. The Township of Red Rock will be fully compliant this year for 2023, based on one final submission that we have to make into the province. That's got to be done before December 31st, which it will be done. So I just want to say congratulations to Samantha. It was a lot of work, and when we first looked at the training and the path, we thought it probably wasn't going to be something we may be able to get to, but we did. So yeah, pretty happy about that, and pretty important for the township to be compliant. The next bullet, just recognizing that I will be on holidays for a bit for the remainder of the year. So I just want to let council know that. I'll be available, obviously. I mean, will check emails, but I'll try as much as I can not to. I'll come back to the RV park because I can just summarize the rest. Just simply Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks to council and staff for everything you do for me throughout the years. Much appreciated. Wanted to say just sometimes our staff is pretty humble, and they deserve a lot more credit than they get at times. The projects, I mean, as Ashley stated, when you're that close and you get every dollar out of a project, you did quite well. So the bridge, both Blair and Ashley, I mean, we had some delays with the bridge last week, but certainly mostly shipping delays and being able to get the product. So, you know, supply chain delays. And not just staff in general, everybody has really stepped up, taken on additional roles. As you know, we have some illness in the staff, and we wish her the best. But yeah, just sometimes staff is pretty humble at times, and I just wanted to thank them and the council as well for everything. And then the last one would be the RV park, and I know Councillor Muir wanted to speak to that just briefly, so the floor is yours.
Well, when you're on holidays, I want you to really think about this, Mark. No, but I'm thinking I would like this council to start considering really looking at this RV park. I know it's been on the table for many years, but I don't think it's been on the table many years. We're either going to do it or we're not. We have to at some point say, let's get this going. Let's see what we can do. We know what the profit margin is going to be on it, on something like this. We know it can be phased. We know it's going to cost money. I wouldn't mind seeing a breakdown, a strat plan put forward to do it. But I like this to be something that, you know, this council can have as like a legacy. We got the RV park started. Because it is something, the feasibility is there. we know how much money this town can make. So I'm hoping maybe in the new year, we could look at this and get some direction on the table to start pursuing it.
Counselor Smith.
I just want to kind of agree with Gord for Councilor Muir. It is already in the previous draft plan, and I know in my short period of time here that nothing has much changed in that area with regards to the strat plan. So we already have something in place to kind of a plan, but like Councilor Muir said, if we can have something moving forward of a phased approach where we kind of just look at portions of that plan and not, you know, necessarily implement the entirety of what they were suggestion. But I would really like to see also some revenue being brought into the town to kind of supplement taxes.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, a general plan again would be, I mean, we take direction as administration, take direction from council, so we can bring back. And I think it's important to bring back kind of a holistic plan of exactly what we prioritize, right? So that comes from council, and maybe that can happen early in 2024, so that when we do have a project, say, in place, or a project that council wants, and we know we're financially set up to have that project, right? I don't think we need or want to go back in time. So I think moving forward, we want to make sure that when we do have a plan, and if the plan is an RV park, or it is, we've had other discussions around lift stations and that, I think we're getting ourselves to a stage where we can take these projects on if we have to, but I think we have to sit down collectively as a group and plan for them, because I can personally say, and I don't want to guide council in a direction that puts us back to a stage where we're scrambling around trying to pay for projects. So respectfully, I think we pick this back up in January. We have discussions on where we want to go, and if the direction is that that's a priority project, then I think then we work at our end to try to make that happen and bring you the best possible advice, both on the logistics of the project and the finances behind it.
Counselor Muir.
Yeah, and absolutely, Mark, and that's where we rely. I know legwork's going to be done in the office, and I mean, we know that the lift station's a priority too. So even, you know, those are two big projects we're looking at, and then looking at the probability and and what each project's going to bring in, and making, you know, one the priority and moving along. I think definitely take the recommendation from you on that 100%.
Yeah, and we'll bring that back. We'll bring those kind of discussions back to the table in January for sure.
Any other questions or comments on the report?
I just would like to congratulate you and Samantha for the being approved or certified. And I know that you've gone a lot of challenges within your office this year, and just really appreciative of it. And I don't know, it makes our job easy when you guys do your job, and you do a great job, and it makes the council, being a councillor, easy. So I thank you.
No, thank you for that. It's much appreciated. And like I said, yeah, I mean, some of my staff sitting here, most of my staff is sitting here directly in the office, and they're all very big part of Red Rock. They're a huge part of my day, and generally speaking, as you say, it makes your life easy. They make my life a lot easier as well. So it's much appreciated. Thank you.
Councilor Brandt.
My question is actually not on here, but it's regarding the in-house. Have an update on that, or leave it till January? I'm fine with leaving it.
I mean, if it's up to you, Mayor Robinson, but I mean, I can certainly provide an update if I knew what the question was. If that was fine, I can. Yeah, so sure. I mean, then that's up to. No, I can simply provide the simple update. So the information has been provided to to the chief of EMS with some site locations, as well as a welcome to Red Rock. We've looked at additional sites, mostly around the Cantley Drive area, of which a lot of them not necessarily are even owned by the Township of Red Rock, but ultimately are properties out there. Some are actually on 17 are actually, if you go a little farther, are actually owned by or owned by the MTO as well. So we're on this, we're working hard. We've shared the locations with them and again invited them, and they're receptive to come into Red Rock and have a look. So yeah, again, I don't have any solid real timelines on that because that could be a long process, but we've the direction of council have reached out and sent that, so it's gone. Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? No, again, on behalf of all of council, congratulations to you and Samantha. I do hear that you guys did try and challenge the one question. Otherwise you would have got perfect on that exam. So good effort
Yeah,
there.
we're still, it's still a gray area. I think we're actually right on the question, but it's being reviewed right now, so.
Yeah, so that's great to hear. Also well-deserved vacation time coming up ahead. So enjoy that with your family. Again, from mayor and council, all the staff, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and stay safe. And yeah, we look forward to coming back in the new year. And hopefully everybody's a little bit refreshed and ready to go.
Thank you.
So is there a mover and seconder to receive the report? Councilor Muir, Councilor Gladden. All in favor? Bonds rising, motion's carried. Okay, next item, 8.4, information purposes only relating to the draft 2024 fee schedule. Everyone had a chance to look. There are some new items on there, so if you have questions on that. I do know administration has compared with surrounding areas and has, we're very low on a lot of them, so they've updated that. If you have any questions. Or we can look it over and then bring back to you.
Yeah, so what we'd like to do is have a review today, any discussion, and if there's any further discussion, what we'd like to do is bring it back for approval right away in January at the first meeting. If we could get that approval from council so that we can implement the new fee schedule right away. So two options then. Yeah, sure. If you have any questions tonight, you can certainly ask them. Otherwise, we didn't hear anything. We would bring it back to the next council with a resolution, or to the next council meeting with a resolution. I can say that we highlighted some areas that we were significantly low in, mostly around planning. We took a very good look at the whole package, very close look. A lot of it we went through last year as well. But what you see in front of you is recommendations from administration, but again, it's your document, right? As council. So
Councilor Muir or Councilor Smith?
The question I kind of have is the price reductions we got going on here. A couple of them are fairly significant. Am I wrong in reading that? Because you're going from.
yeah, actually, so the new number is under charges, so the 2023. So I don't believe there's any reductions.
Oh, okay. So I read the.
Yeah.
So if I'm just going with the tax certificates under 2023 40, so the charges is 60, so it's an increase of 40.
An increase of
Is that
20.
what- Okay,
So last year was a $40 charge.
okay, because I'm reading it because we're in 2023 still, so.
Yeah, so this will be this is the 2024 fee schedule. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. So
so
the
yes, you're-
23 is what the previous price was. Okay, I
Correct,
understand now. So
yes.
now there are no decreases, it's all increases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like kind of confused for a little bit there. And that does clear up things, so I feel better about raising prices and not decreasing them. But for the Planning Act, you got the minor variance, and that's well, even under the applications, there are fairly significant increases there. So is that,
Yeah, so that's a really good example, the minor variance. So when you looked at a study of the communities, other communities, more directly our northern communities, you saw that that's your average. What you saw is the township of Red Rock was significantly low. So when you look at staff time and, for example, having to advertise, say, in a local paper for any of this, you could, if you go above the minor variance, for example, and into a zoning bylaw amendment, so at what used to charge $750, we easily eat that up advertising in the Gazette, for example. So when you look at the charges across the board, and I think, I mean, I guess I can't speak to the past, but I think there was probably a long time where we didn't see a lot, but we've seen a lot of planning in the last little bit. So it was maybe something that didn't get addressed, but generally speaking, we were significantly lower than all other municipalities. So in the planning, you will see some significant increases, but they're there to recoup your admin cost, as well as a lot of your advertising and work in those areas. We're in the ballpark now. We're on par with a lot of communities. We're still lower than a lot. So.
Councillor Glad.
Glad to see a lifetime licensing for dogs and cats. It could probably be a little higher, really, because we were charging $10 a year. Just another comment, in the rec center, seniors classified as 55, but in the cats and dogs, it's 65. So there's a little bit of a,
Okay.
I don't know if you want to look at that. I know that, I think that's come up before, but just to be consistent with what's a senior or who is a senior,
For sure.
just a comment. Pardon me? Senior? Depends on who.
Yeah, we can bring that back for discussion. I guess the question would be at that point is what is the will of council? What I guess would 55? I guess we got to pick one of the two, right? Because we're in the middle there. God, I'm getting close. I always thought it was 65, but maybe I'm getting closer than if it's 55. Okay. So 55, we can certainly do that. Good catch there. And was there an interest in going higher on the lifetime fee, or is $20? Because certainly, again, this is where we get the input, right? And then we'll bring back you a completed document. We kind of thought that this would entice people more to hopefully get it as well, because you're seeing that a lot of people you don't see where you're getting a lot of intake. So maybe this would do it. So maybe it's a suggestion to leave it at that rate and see how it goes for a year.
Councillor Brand, do you have a question?
A couple questions, but since we're on the dog and cat issue, do you know approximately how many we sell a year?
I could probably pull that data. I don't have it.
Not right now. Okay, that's fine. I was just curious. I think I asked this question last year regarding the gym lounge and the senior room. Are you able to have alcohol in those? Like up above, you've got liquored events, that kind of thing under your gymnasium, but I was just wondering about there, like if you had a small group could they have alcohol in there?
Well, we could, based on on permitting. I would have to follow up and look at our insurance policy as well, just based on the fact that we may need additional insurance for those type of events, but we could do that, most certainly. We necessarily don't on a lot of, but if there was an event, I believe we'd have to look at two things, obviously cost and insurance, but we can look at that.
I do
Again,
think if you're to get your own liquor license as a special occasion or whatever it is, you do have to follow up with a certificate of insurance as well. So besides our own insurance, whoever is renting and getting that license does have to provide insurance as well.
And then I'm just curious, how do you decide how much you're increasing these rates?
So generally speaking, we do a kind of a holistic look at the North Shore communities and a lot of other communities, and a lot of times we base it on that. A lot of other times we'll base it on, for example, in planning on a minor variance would be staff time, and the amount of time it takes. And I'm not sure if you're highlighting a particular
Well,
area, but
I was just looking under the planning act, like, you've gone from like 1,000, it's gone up to 500, then 500, and then 450. Like, I just thought, how come like not just 450 across or 500 across? So you're comparing these to other areas.
other areas and amount of work per
Okay.
particular task.
That's fine. Then, I'm sorry, I thought you were.
And employee costs too, right? When you look at some of, say, the additional labor works in that, we're also then looking at, I mean, there's many factors it could, that could be just straight salary or call-ins, or there's a lot of different factors we take into play there.
Okay, the other question here I had regarding was the fitness room. We used to have a 7-day or $7 per day. And I see that you don't have that any longer. Is that because the 7-day thing, nobody was purchasing, or?
Well, it's that, and it's also the fact that it was pretty inconvenient to deal with and manage too, because you were giving that code out for a day, and it was so. Again, you're absolutely correct. We did remove that, but again, we meet, we talk about what works, what doesn't work, and that was a decision that we made.
And then under dump fees, you've got, we used to have curbside pickup, $50 per load, and I see that's not on here any longer.
Yeah, we actually stopped that service this year, based on just mostly on staffing and the cost to do it. I mean, you'd have to, in order to recover your cost there, you'd have to significantly charge more. There is local businesses that provide the service as well, so we do always want to try to promote that as well. So that was a decision made during the year. A lot of it was made during the times where we were eliminating and cutting back on some of our services.
Thanks, that's my questions.
Any other questions or comments on the fee schedule? So I guess if anybody has any other follow-up questions, they can send an email, and then that could be addressed at the next meeting.
Yeah, and we'll
And then
bring
we
it
could-
back with the changes that we heard here based on just on the ages, and yeah, we'll bring that back for sure.
Okay. Okay, moving on, 9.1 is an addition to the agenda from council's decision on the zoning bylaw amendment. Does council have any questions? See none, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the bylaw? Councillor Glavin. Councillor Smith. All in favor? Hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, next item on the agenda is the closed session portion of the meeting. May I have a mover and seconder to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Muir. Councillor Gladden, all in favor? Hands rising, motion's carried. So council discussed rising out of closed session, discuss matters, matters relating to identifiable individuals as well as matters under solicitor client privilege. Okay, next item is bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. May I have a mover and seconder for motion to pass the bylaw? Councillor Gladden. Councillor Smith, all in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, next council meeting is January 15th. On behalf of mayor and council, we want to wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, stay safe. Get a ride if you need to, no drinking and driving, and happy holidays. Enjoy your time off with your family and friends. Meeting is adjourned.